So moving to the session. So Anostomy is a type of surgical opening, and the types of ostomies are usually input ostomy and output ostomy. So the input ostomies, the name itself says that something we are putting inside, that is tracheostomy, gastrostomy, feeding jejunostomy. The output ostomies are colostomy, urostomy, and ileostomy. These are mainly used for taking the excretions out. So next, so so usually the functions of large intestine are reabsorption of water, absorption of vitamins, elimination of undigested materials, and microbial activity. There are many bacteria present in our large intestine which will help in synthesis of vitamin K and folic acid. These are the main functions of large intestine. So this is just telling the physiology of large intestine. Next. So moving to the colostomy definition. So we nurses are very familiar with colostomy, and this is not a new topic for us, but we should know in palliative care settings how to deal with the colostomy patient. For that is this session mainly for. So colostomy is a surgical opening made from the large intestine through which fecus and flatus are excreted. Next. So when we see the colostomy, according to the location, it is mainly four types. That is ascending colostomy, which is on the ascending colon. Then the transverse colostomy, which is on the transverse colon. Descending colostomy in descending colon, and sigmoid colostomy, and that is in sigmoid colon. And usually the colostomies can be classified into many more types. That is on the duration, it can be permanent and temporary. And this is the type which the location comes. And these are the main two types of classification of colostomy. So next, so you can see what is a colostomy. So in this images, you can see there is a colostomy made in the descending colon, and the opening is called the stoma, and the you can see the colostomy with a colostomy bag and these things. Next. So as I discussed early, the type is mainly temporary and permanent. So temporary is for a short duration and permanent is for lifelong. So next. So the main indication for colostomy are ulcerative colitis, Crohn's disease. If there is any congenital abnormalities, the doctors might do a colostomy. Then if there is a cancer in the colon, we go for colostomy. If there is an obstruction, we do colostomy. Any injury or trauma to the like abdominal area, we might end up into colostomy. If there is any fistula, especially rectovaginal fistula, that is if it is in high degree, then we will be doing a colostomy. Next. So in colostomy, we need to think about these 4 points. And the first thing is preoperative counseling, then stoma site marking, postoperative care, and irrigation. So moving to preoperative counseling. Next. So in preoperative counseling, it is very important that, so this is something very new to the patient, and the patient take time to accept the colostomy. So we may need to sit with the patient and family to discuss about what is our plan. That is, we need a teamwork. We need to sit with our team and discuss with the patient and family about the procedure first. Then individual care should be, we should take the individual care, that is both patient care and family care. Explanation must be there regarding the procedure, that is how she or he will be dealing with the colostomy in the future. It should be mainly mentioned. Then living with colostomy is not very easy, so you might be end up with many emotional problem with the family and the patients. So we need to support the family and patient in their psychosocial levels. Then site marking is very important. Before site marking, we should explain about the site and why we are choosing that site, and even we need to explain the type of fecal matter coming out from the colostomy, especially in that site. So the patient will be mentally and physically prepared in this phase of preoperative counseling. Next, in postoperative care, we will be focusing on patient involvement and family contribution. Then we will be checking the habit formation, the how the stool is formed in the like the colostomy. Then we will be mainly concentrating on the diet, then occupation, travel, sports, clothing, and skincare. So these are the things we will be mainly looking in the postoperative care. I will be explaining detail about all these points. Next. So I know all of you are very familiar with the colostomy appliances, but still I will be showing some of the colostomy appliances which we are using in Pallium India. So I think slide sharing can be stopped now. So you can see a sheet of paper here. So this is called the colostomy site marking sheet, in which there will be different sizes. So it is in mm. So what usually it do is we will be taking this paper near to the stoma of the patient. So imagine if the patient's stoma is here. So we will be keeping this here. So if the stoma is inside this size, we will be taking this size, and this paper then we will take to the wafer. We will be taking this to the wafer, and we will cut the wafer according to the size of the sheet. That is, always remember that this is the size of the stoma, and if we cut in the correct size only, the colostomy bag will be fitted or correctly in place as we planned. Okay. So next thing is colostomy bag. I think you can see this. So this is a 2-piece bag, and this is called wafer. So this is a 1-piece bag in which there won't be no wafer. We will be directly sticking to the stoma side. Okay. So slides, please. So I think all are clear with the colostomy bag. Okay. So next. So we need to mainly, if there is a stoma, we need to assess for the many things inside the stoma. The first thing is we need to check for any stomal edema. So there will be usually edema after the postoperative period, which will subside gradually. If the edema is not subside after the postoperative period also, we need to consult the surgeon. Next. Then other thing is stromal prolapse or bleeding. So stromal prolapse is usually the stroma will be outside the abdomen wall. That is the main part of the stroma will be prolapsed outside, and there will be, if there is a profuse bleeding, then immediately we need to go and check with the surgeon. Next is parastomal hernia. So if there is any hernia in the stromal area, this also has to consult with the surgeon. There is an emergency need of consulting a surgeon. Next. the retraction. Sometimes there is a chance of getting stromal retraction. At this time, also we need to go for emergency consultation with the surgeon. Next. Then peristromal reaction. This is very common. So what happens is the skin around the stromal area will be having some kind of reaction. This might be due to the allergy with this colostomy bag, or if we are not using a correct size bag also, this might come. So this is called peristromal reaction. So there will be some kind of reaction in the nearby, that is near the stromal region. Next. So for all these problems, need emergency care. So next thing is about the skin care. So what are the care we will be teaching to the colostomy patient? The first thing is educate them to wash with soap and water in the area. Then keep peristromal skin dry and clean. Always instruct them to keep the stromal area clean and dry. Then using correct size of bag is very important. Then instruct the patient or the caregiver to empty the bag when it is half full. Don't wait for the bag to fill completely. Always when it is half, please empty it. Then use cotton clothes to clean. Don't use polyester or silk clothes. Use cotton clothes to clean, because the area where the stoma lies will be very tender and very soft. So when rubbing it with other clothes may irritate the skin. So use cotton clothes. Then apply Karaya powder with egg white if skin is excoriated. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with Karaya powder. So I will be explaining about it later in the slides. So if there is any skin excoriation, apply Karaya powder, take some egg white and mix the Karaya powder in it, and mix it thoroughly and apply over the excoriated region. Okay. Next, apply zinc oxide for peristromal skin reaction. If there is any peristromal skin reaction, you can use zinc oxide powder. Then avoid powder or cream on the peristromal skin. Especially don't use our talcum powder and other moisturizing agent over the peristromal skin. Okay, it will cause irritation and infection to the patient. Next. So as I already told, this is the way to cut the wafer, and the first image is showing the taking the size of the stroma, and in second image we will be keeping it over the main colostomy bag, and we will cut it according to the size, and then we will be placing the bag over the patient's stomal region. Okay. Next. So as I told about Karaya plant, so Karaya powder is taken from the Karaya plant. So actually Karaya plant has some resins. So in that resins only the Karaya powder is taken. So here I will show the Karaya powder. So this is the Karaya powder we are using in Pallium here. So it is available in the market. We can use it for skin excoriation. Next. So this is Karaya powder. It is available in the market. Next. So about the diet, it is very good to control gas forming foods. Then avoid chili, spicy foods. Then control food like onion, cabbage, garlic, cauliflower, broccoli, etc. Meat, especially which give a smell to the stool. Use some same oil for cooking. Don't change oil in between. So this will cause diarrhea. Okay. Use high fiber diet and increase fluid intake. So this will avoid constipation to the patient. Okay. Next. So these are the common food that cause bloating and gas. So these are cabbage, cauliflower, beans, oats, apple, milk, fluffy wheat, broccoli, onion, corn, potatoes, pears of cheese, peaches. So in this mainly whatever available in our local area which cause gas forming, like we need to reduce the content, like we need to reduce the amount of these type of food in our cooking. Okay. Next. Then about traveling. So for patient with colostomy, they can travel, but always tell them that they should protect their uh, stoma area with a purse or handbag. Imagine if this is a handbag, they can keep over the stomal region and they can close it. They can take the purse into the stomal area and keep the hand like this, so that if there is any if the bus is very rush means also, if there is any hitting or any thing means, they can always protect their stoma. Then while traveling, tell the patient to keep an extra collecting bag in case of a long journey. Okay. Next. So clothing, there is no restriction for clothing. They can wear any dress, any clothing according to their wish. About their sexual life, usually uh, most of the patient who comes to our IP have this question, like when we explore more psychosocial things, they usually tell that they are very much afraid of their sexual activity. So what we do here is we will explain about the actually why they are afraid means they usually think that when they are doing that, they are afraid of hitting the colostomy stoma, and they are thinking that bleeding or something will happen. So always tell that they can have a good sexual life, but there are some points to be reminded. So we need to do support and advice. We can encourage them and we can counsel them if they are facing any problem. All this means we have to support them. Okay. Next. So here is a question for you all. So Mr. T, a 45-year, was diagnosed with carcinoma rectum and had undergone AP resection and sigmoid colostomy 3 months ago. He has been using disposable colostomy bag for bowel emptying. He is a management executive and find it very difficult to manage it. So what option can you advise him as a palliative care doctor or nurse? Anyone?
You can either unmute and speak or give your options in the chat.
So here are some answers. So from Shashi Shekhar, sister is telling about diet, and from Neelam Mandal, she's telling about avoiding disposal colostomy bag, otherwise diet. Is there any more answers? So here is another answer. Daily routine care for stoma patient. Okay. Any more? Okay. So let's move to the answer. Next. So in this case, we will be suggesting a colostomy irrigation. So what is the purpose of colostomy irrigation? So the first purpose is to establish a regular bowel habit. Next is to clean the colon of gas, mucus and feces and to prevent skin escoration. Okay. For this patient, he is a, can you please change back. Okay. So in this case, he is a person who is daily going for a job and he is an executive, management executive. So for him, it will be very difficult to emptying colostomy bag in between. So the best option for this kind of patient is colostomy irrigation. Next. So the solution used for colostomy irrigation is plain lukewarm water. We don't need to use normal saline or any other water. The best thing is plain lukewarm water. Next. So the three instruction which is very must to remind the patient is before starting a colostomy irrigation is the colostomy irrigation should be done on a lifelong, and after 21 days only the habit will be formed. Then colostomy irrigation should be done on a daily basis on a fixed time. You need not do it on, like, you, if today you are doing at 9 a.m. means tomorrow you should not do it 10 a.m. Okay. If you are doing 9 a.m. today, the next day also you should do at 9 a.m. The shifting the time will be will cause, like, there will be problems in the irrigation. Okay. Continuity of irrigation. So I think these three things should be instructed thoroughly with the patient before starting the colostomy irrigation. Okay. Next. So what are the general instruction we will give before the colostomy irrigation? So start the irrigation after 3 months of surgery. Like, start irrigation 3 months after surgery. Do not irrigate if there is a diarrhea. Don't try to irrigate if there is a existing diarrhea. Then don't irrigate in the ileostomy. Before the irrigation, always lubricate the funnel. Okay. For colostomy irrigation, use 1 to 1.5 liter of water. So when we are irrigating, don't irrigate more than once a day. Then do not use force to introduce funnel. Don't pull the funnel inside. You should gently keep the funnel. Then clamp and remove the tube from stoma after running of fluid. Okay. You should clamp and remove the tube from stoma after running of fluid. Okay. Wait for return flow. So it will take usually 30 to 45 minutes. Next. So here is the colostomy irrigation procedure. Before that, I will show you the colostomy irrigation set. Okay. So this is the colostomy irrigation set. I think most of you are familiar with this, especially those who are working in palliative care. So this is the pouch in which we will be collecting the lukewarm water, and we will be holding the water like we do in the IV set. There will be a flow. So we can adjust the flow rate here. Then this is called the funnel. Okay. So these things will be inserting directly into the stoma. Before inserting this, in the general instruction, I already told that we should lubricate it and it should not be pushed hard. Imagine if this is the stoma, it should be go gently to the stoma. So it will be look like this. Okay. Next. is the sleeve. After the irrigation, when the fluid is completely inside the large intestine or the stroma side, we will be keep. So here is, this is called the sleeve, and here it is the opening for the water to collect back. So we will be keeping this over the stromal side, and here is a belt for securing. So that it will be looking like this. So imagine if here is the stoma, we will be keeping the opening over the stoma, and we will be securing it here. So, and here you can see the sleeve has an opening, so you can directly keep this to the latrine, okay, toilet. So this is about the colostomy irrigation bag and the procedure. So the main thing when we need to consider about this is, if the patient in between is getting a colicky pain during the irrigation time, we should stop the irrigation, okay? And it is always better to get advice from the doctor if the patient is having continuous pain while during irrigation, okay? I think till here all are clear. Okay, next. So we'll move to the care of bag. So always remember, while selecting the bag, use correct size of bag. I already mentioned about the emptying of the bag. So always when it is half full, empty the bag. Use soap and water to clean the bag. No need of any Dettol or other disinfectant. Don't soak it. All these are unwanted. Only use soap and water to clean the bag. So if there is a smell inside the pouch or the charcoal, like we can use the charcoal inside the bag. So you can see here, this is charcoal powder which is available in the market. So if there is any foul smelling, usually the feces will have a foul smell. So if it is, sometimes the patient may be feeling uncomfortable with that. So to reduce the foul smell, you can put a piece of charcoal inside the bag, not inside the stoma. Always remember, don't put these kind of things over the stoma. This is only for the bag, okay? Inside the bag, you can take one piece of charcoal and put it if the bag is foul smelling, okay? Next. Then uh, don't uh, don't keep the bag under direct sunlight. Keep in a shadow place. Then avoid rough brushing or stone washing. So usually people will be washing these kind of things like we do with the dress. So don't avoid all these things. Just with your hand you can wash your colostomy bag. The things which only soap and water is enough. Don't use detergents. Mild soap is enough, I think. Next. So here are some situation. So in this type of situation, we should must call the doctor. So when there is a continuous blood ooze from the site of stoma, we should contact doctor. When there is a prolapse, retraction or hernia, we should consult a doctor, that is especially surgeon. When there is a colicky pain lasting more than 6 hours, I already told about this colicky pain. Usually while during some of the patient tell us that there is colicky pain, and in that case we need to consult the doctor. When there is a diarrhea, dehydration, constipation and abdominal distension, we need to consult with doctor. So ileostomy not functioning more than 24 hours. then there is a need of emergency. If there is any peristomal skin problem which we can't manage, then there should be an emergency consultation. Okay. All are clear? Okay. So I think till this colostomy, all are clear. If there is any doubt, please put it in your chat box or please raise your hand. So, okay. Okay. So I am going to going with tracheostomy, and later we can discuss our doubts. So tracheostomy is very common and very familiar. We nurses will always know about it. But in palliative care settings, how we are managing, we can see. So the definition, tracheostomy is an artificial opening made in the trachea into which a tube is inserted to establish and maintain a patient pattern airway. Okay. Next. So tracheostomy parts, usually there are two types of tracheostomy available. Metal tracheostomy was available in the past. There are some hospitals still practicing the metal tracheostomy, but plastic tracheostomy is commonly available in these days. So mainly we can see there are three parts for a tracheostomy. The first thing is an obturator, inner cannula and outer cannula. Okay. So obturator is used to guide the inner cannula. So I will show so this is the obturator. You all can see this. This is an obturator, okay? This is an obturator. So this is an outer tube. This is an inner tube. So this is a metallic tracheostomy, okay? Back to the slide. Okay. So outer tube remains held in a place by a ribbon or tie. So the outer tube, we will be tying it and we will be securing it on the back side. And inner tube, this outer tube, we won't be removing it. Inner tube, which fits inside the outer tube. Like if this is the outer tube and this is the inner tube, it will be fixing like this. So basically it would be looking like this. Okay. So the obturator is used as a guide to the outer tube while it is inserted into the trachea. So when we insert the our outer tube, we will we use obturator to guide the trachea. Inserted in the trachea. Okay. Next. So about the cleaning tube. So train the patient to clean the tube self with the help of a mirror. Okay. You can ask the patient, imagine if this is a mirror, ask the patient to keep the mirror in front of him and do cleaning by looking the mirror. Okay. Then inner tube, thorough cleaning of the tube inside and outside with running water is needed. The slide. So both cleans has to be cleaned. So in a tube, we need to clean the tube inside and outside with running water. Sterilization of tube in boiling water for 10 minutes. After that, clean with normal saline and reinsert. In home care settings, we can ask the patient to keep the tube in a steam cooker and boil it for 10 minutes and then clean it with normal saline and reinsert. Okay. Then outer tube, always instruct the patient that he or she should not remove the outer tube. Clean the tube pallets with plates with saline soft gauze thoroughly. So if there is saline, means ask the patient to soak the gauze and clean it. Clean the sides of the plate and the area. Next, cleaning the outer tube. So changing the tie, it is applied to fix the tube position. So the tie is applied to fix the tube position. So change when it is only dirty. It should not be too tight. One finger gap should be there. Then changing the tie, self attempt not be made by the patient. Ask the patient to get help from the family members or caregivers. When changing the tie, ask the patient to take one side tie first and support the finger and uh, put a new tie, then take the other side tie and secure the new tie with the other side. Always place one hand before removing the tie over the plate. Next, then about the skin care, clean the skin around the tracheostomy tube with saline soak the gauze. Then keep the skin around tracheostomy tube clean and dry. Vaseline gauze is helpful to prevent excoriation around the tube. And we can instruct the patient to keep a Vaseline gauze, which will prevent the excoriation of the around the skin. Okay. Next, if the and tell the patient to cover with a cloth. Always cover the tracheostomy with a cloth because there is a chance of getting maggots enter to the tube. So it will be very risky situation, and the patient might end up with very discomfort, and it may need even surgical procedure to remove it. So please always tell the patient to cover the tracheostomy area with a wet cloth better. It will also prevent from dryness. Okay. Next, suction and humidification. The suction of the trachea is done very gently, not more than 5 to 10 seconds to prevent hypoxia. Usually in palliative care settings, we don't usually suggest for suction. Then humidification of air, place a wet gauze. As already I said, you can place a sterile gauze on the top of the tracheostomy tube. This help in humidifying the inhaling air and filter the dust. If the patient is in the home care setting, you can ask the patient to cut the clean cotton piece of cloth and sterile it, like as I said in that is steam cook the sterile cloth and then apply it over the tracheostomy tube after wetting in normal saline, okay, or clean water. Then this will prevent from inhaling inhaling dust, and it will filter the dust actually. Next, so there most of the patient are very much have the concern about their speech. So always suggest them about the speech therapy. So speech therapy can help the patient. So tell them that the patient should be taught how to take a deep breath. First thing is they have to we have to teach them how to take a deep breath exercises, and then uh, show them that first take deep breath, then close the tracheostomy tube with a finger, and then speak 1 or 2 words, not much than that. Okay. So again, ask them to take breath and then do like likewise. Okay. So gradually it will help the patient to talk word by word and then sentence by sentence. Okay. So always encourage them. You, if there is a speech therapy in your hospital, you can consult them, or if there is no speech therapy, you can try this method. Okay, with the advice of doctors. Okay, only if there is an advice for speech therapy, do. In some cases, we can't tell the patient to do speech therapy also. Okay, this is not done after immediately after the tracheostomy to insertion, but later on in their if they came to home or if they are in the palliative care setting, you can teach about all these things. Okay, this is about speech therapy. Next. Okay, so these are the two main nursing issues we covered today. So I think all are clear with the topic. So we can move to the next thing.
Thank you, Aina, for the presentation. If you have any doubts, please ask. So, either you can chat or unmute yourself and talk. Jenny Joseph? Sister Jenny?
Okay, if there is no doubt, I will be asking a question to you all. So if a patient is coming to you, so he was a previous state football player and he have a trauma, like he met with an accident and the doctor suggested him that to do a colostomy, and now he is asking the nurse in preoperative period that whether I can play football after the colostomy. What will you be suggesting for this patient?
Answers, please. What suggestion you will give to that patient as a nurse?
What kind of belt? Okay, so someone is typed that question is not clear. Okay, I will repeat the question. If a football player is asking you, he met with an accident and he undergone colostomy surgery. So he is asking you whether he can play football after the colostomy in the pre-operative period while you are discussing with the colostomy plan. Okay. So what kind of counseling or what will you be suggest as a nurse? So Sushila ma'am is suggesting abdominal binder. Okay. Any more answers?
So Jenny Joseph, they can play but take care, protect himself that particular area.
Okay. Any more answers?
Teach about colostomy. Then
So
Hello.
James, the is
Hello.
abdominal binder. Okay.
Yes, Regina,
Yeah, good morning.
good morning.
Good morning.
I was thinking, I'm not very sure whether, like how long it has been since the surgery, but then I think that for a game like football, anything can happen. Someone can just kick the ball. It might hit your neck. It can hit your chest. It can hit any other part of your body. And also because it involves a lot of running, you may need to be breathing in and out. You will need breath. So to me, I would suggest to the patient to give himself a little more time and then also seek advice from the doctor to assess him and then find out whether he's totally healed and whether he will be fit to indulge in such again. But as a nurse, I will tell him not to go and play the football because he might just be in an accident and it will cause another problem for him.
Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Yes, if it is a temporary colostomy, after closing that colostomy, after some time, after the physician's decision, he can go and play. If it is a permanent colostomy, it is always avoid the rough games, especially football is a rough game, kabaddi is a rough game. All these can cause trauma to the colostomy site and profuse bleeding and many more problems will come. So you need to you need to give counseling and tell him about the situation. And this is what as a nurse we have to do to the patient. Okay. I think all are clear with my presentation. If there is any doubt, we can discuss it now or after the presentation.
Any more questions? Any questions? Otherwise, we can move on to the patient story. Sister Sophia.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yeah.
Presentation.
Hi, good afternoon. Today I want to present a case study of colostomy patient. I'm Sophia Binti Jaman. I'm staff nurse from National Cancer Society Malaysia, Sarawak branch. Next slide. So my patient is female, 72 years old, diagnosed with rectal adenocarcinoma metastasis to adrenal gland. So the presenting complaint of my patient is typing error here, pain at growing tumor at anus area. The size of the growing tumor is one times half inches of the anus. And then pain at the swollen stomach area and edema at the both leg. This one, 5 months after we see this patient. And then oral thrush, and then neuropathic pain at both leg area radiating to the buttock area. So history of the illness. So in March 2019, last year, patient is admitted due to the rectal bleed, done the colonoscope, and noted a rectal mass 3 cm from the anal verge. And the HPE result is rectal adenocarcinoma. But patient not keen for the treatment until August 2019. Patient once again admit to the hospital because of PR bleed. And this time patient do the trepine proximal transverse colostomy done on the 17 August 2019. And then patient do palliative radiotherapy on the pelvis. This one is because of the pen, radiating pen to the pelvis on the 30th of September 2019. After that, patient refused for the further treatment and established the best supportive care and referred to us on February this year, 2020. And then patient once again admit after 5 months with us, July 2020, because of acute urine retention. And this time patient is memang request that one inserted by catheter urine. Next. On examination, the patient is conscious and orientated, and vital sign is stable. Patient is mentally orientated until the last time we visit her. And the pen, one is pen at the groin tumor area at the anus and the swollen stomach area. You can see from the picture, it's swollen. The swollen is happen after 5 months we attending this patient. And then after discharge from hospital, this one is from the first we saw this patient, February. Patient is discharged with aqueous morphine 15 mg for hourly PRN. But neuropathic pain at the both leg area relating to buttock area, so patient on gabapentin 300 mg on night. And the stomach is swollen stomach. Next. So the oral thrush, you can see the oral cavity is very dry, and patient is due to the patient claim that the morphine cause the mouth become dry and pain and red. So, and then bleeding also, this one patient also have bleeding from the groin tumor at the anus area. Next. So investigation, since patient is referred to us for basic supportive care only, so no specific investigation done. We just do the head to toe examination and pen score chart during every time our visit, and the bowel sound, the stomach case assessment. So the treatment for the pain, due to the pain with the oral thrush and dryness of the mouth, because patient claimed the aqueous morphine caused her mouth become dry and pain. So patient request to change medication to fentanyl patch and the subcutaneous injection for the morphine. So we changed all the aqueous morphine to the fentanyl patch. At that time is 37 mic, 72 hourly, and subcut morphine 5 mg BTP. And for the neuropathic pain, we increased the dose, the gabapentin 300 mg from OD to BD. Next. For the oral thrush, we prescribed the antifungal because that time patient got the fungal inside her mouth. We prescribed nystatin drop for hourly, and then oral aid drop for the lip ulcer, Vaseline to moisture the lips and encourage the mouth care hygiene to the patient. For the swollen stomach, we using because this one doctor from our hospital here, she suggests me to use osmolarity technique by soaking the stomach with the dextrose 50%. We tried the dextrose 5% and dextrose 20%, but the stoma not shrink. So the time I get the dextrose 50% from our emergency department here. So I tried to soak the stoma. So yes, the stoma is shrink to normal size after the time of the soaking. You also can see the study of this dextrose 50%. If you Google it, you can see the study from Japan of Japan school. The study's name is SLAC method. That means from that article you can see this technique is also good for stoma prolapse. I can show you the study. I can put the inside the our group lah. Next. So psychosocial of aspect of this patient. Patient is 72 years old lady, married and blessed with 5 kids. And two of kids stay at Kuching, Malaysia, and 3 outside of Kuching, but still around Malaysia. And patient stay with second daughter, son-in-law, and husband. Patient husband also have the CCF but under the treatment. Her main cause of income is from the second daughter and the younger son. So far, patient doesn't have the economic uh, disability. So patient is vegetarian and believe in traditional and organic way of treatment. Next. So this is the list of medication of this patient. Bentanepes, this is in 37 mic, 72 hours. Subcut morphine 5 mg, PRN DTP. Subcut haloperidol 2.5 mg PRN. Subcut Buscopan 20 mg PRN. Tranexamic acid, this one is for the bleeding at the anus area. 500 mg TDS. Adrenaline packing also for the bleeding for the anus, PRN. Syrup lactulose 15 ml OD and tap bisacodyl to tap OD. Next. So the main concern of this patient is the pain management, the care of stoma and oral hygiene. Next. In summary, 72 years old lady diagnosed rectal adenocarcinoma mesoadrenal gland. Due to disease progression, so the stoma also swollen. It's reduced by soaking with D 50%. And then due to oral thrush, dryness, and ulcer, she's having difficulty in swallowing and changing of pain management route to injection and patch are needed. Next. So discussion point, what else can we do to reduce her pain instead of using medication? Because patient refused oral medication in the end of her life 2 months before his die. And is there another way to stop her anus bleeding instead of using oral tranexamic acid and that one and adrenaline packing? Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Sophia. Is there any more clarification regarding this patient story? Sister Sophia, please share that document with our in our groups so that all the nurses will be understand about that dextrose 50% study, you know. So, okay. So now I think we can move on to the discussion points. We already learned pain management, ostomy care and all. So I think you can tell us. So what else can be done to reduce her pain instead of using medication? So
Okay. For this patient, what I do to this patient,
no,
once is
Sophia,
it?
Sophia, I am asking the other participants.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'll come to you.
Okay.
Okay. Any answers? Patient is refused oral medication, but how can we reduce her pain? Non-pharmacological therapy is very good. Then
Any more answers? Apply homeostatic dressing. Okay, good. Assessment of pain type, whether emotional pain. Correct, very good.
Sister Sophia, why the patient is refused oral medication?
Patient refused oral medications 2 months before patient died. It means after patient admit to the hospital, 5 months after we see patient, then after that patient refused the medication. That's why at that time we change all the medication to patch and subcut.
Sister, is it due to the oral thrush or any other reason?
Firstly, is because the oral trust.
Okay.
After that, patient readmit again because of the AUR. So since patient discharged from that hospital, so the patient become down that time. So all the medication, even food, she don't want to eat, don't want to drink. Emotionally distressed, emotionally depressed.
Is she was able to eat and drink?
She
Or
able a few spoon and just one or two uh the water, one and two apa
okay.
slide of water.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
Clear, sister. So here we have one more answer. Pain can be specified like mouth pain or what type of pain? Okay. So
So what type of pain, Sophia? It was
Like of pain, somatic pain, just around the mouth only because of dry of the skin.
so okay.
Mm.
What would be the cause of dry mouth for this patient?
Pardon?
Uh, so I am asking the participants, what would be the cause of dry mouth for this patient? Others? Dehydration. Then medications. Any other answers? Only hydration? Dehydration, side effect of morphine, very good. Hydration. Sophia, you want to
Yeah.
add anything?
No, yes, because patient, this is the side effect of the morphine and dehydration because patient don't want to eat and drink lots.
okay.
Okay. So I think this type of patients, especially cancer patients and HIV patients, are immunosuppressed. These patients can easily develop oral thrush. So if there is a oral thrush there, difficulty in swallowing there, dry mouth is also another cause of that pain. If when they chew anything, so if there is a dryness there, that will cause pain. So the another thing, the drugs which we cause dry mouth. So that also these are the problems might be that patients cause the mouth pain. So you can give either if the oral fluconazole or oral tablets sees that patient is refusing, that time the injection fluconazole also available, and oral that the mouth pain, candid mouth pain is also available. So you can either use oral mouth pain, or you can use injection fluconazole for that. So, but we can't the stop morphine or any the fentanyl the patch for these patients. That will reduce the pain. No. So only thing we can do is you can increase the hydration. So you can either you can give subcutaneous fluid or intravenous fluid for this patient if the patient is not able to drink. So here is a severe dysphagia because of oral thrush and dry mouth, and stomatitis also there, I think. So I think you can choose a subcutaneous infusion or intravenous fluid for this patient. Any other answers? And you can give a good oral care, mouth care also. So you can suggest a homemade saline for that, and even if they are able to take a soda bicarb solution, so you can suggest soda bicarb solution also. Take 200 ml of water and add quarter teaspoon of soda bicarb, and take for that they can rinse with that solution. So every 4 hourly they can use rinse that solution. That will be helpful for the mouth to be clean. So any other answers? James does.
James does, kindly mute. Okay. So in the regional cancer center of Trivandrum, they use even glycerin mouthwash, like mouth gargling technique for dryness and dryness of mouth. So there is a chance of lowering the pain by using this glycerin mouthwash. Okay. Discussion rules.
I think the first question is clear. Sophia, is it clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we can move on to the next question. Is there another way to stop her anus bleeding instead of oral tranexamic acid? Answers. Vitamin K, IV tranexamic acid injection. Okay. Topical solution. Topical solution means
What type of solution are you suggesting? Sorry, sister, what is that solution? We are not familiar with that. Can you please explain? Okay, we can all use tablet transfer.
Topically apply homeostatic dressings.
Very
Okay.
correct.
Any more answers? More affect oral than injection. Okay.
For this case, Sister Sophia.
Yeah.
So, how did you manage for this patient? Did you manage this patient?
For the anus bleed, uh, during patient still can take orally that time, we just titrate the tranexamic acid. We give 500 mg OD, BD, and TDS. But once patient refuse all the oral medication, we just apply the pre-med adrenaline solution. The adrenaline solution we pour in the gauze or inside the pad and put at the patient anus for 15 to 30 minutes until it stops, and then we can rinse like normal adrenaline solution.
Okay, sister. Thank you. So here is the answer for Botrophy solution. So it is a hemocoagulate solution which we usually use to stop bleeding. Okay, thank you, sister. So there are some more answers. First, might need to do examination of bleeding site. Okay, we can apply sterile pad to stop bleeding. So all the answers are correct, but if the patient have a profuse bleeding, it is always better to consult a radiotherapist for hemostatic radiotherapy. Okay. And if we are not sure about the cause of bleeding, it is better to go with the radiotherapy. And we need to find out the cause of the bleeding. If it is an end of life care, it will be different. We will be doing all the application and we will be keeping the steroid pad for stopping the bleeding and all. At that time, no need of radiotherapy. Okay.
So as Aina said, if there is a bleeding there, you can assess the bleeding is profuse. Better you can refer to the radiologist. If there is a hope there was one or two cycles of that radiotherapy will reduce the bleeding. And the next thing is you can if the patient is in end of life. So that time you can prepare the patient family for the same. So you can educate the patient family, patient relatives for this. This is the cause. Maybe this is one of the cause of death of that patient. So you can prepare the patient family for the same. If the patient is conscious, you can explain the patient also. Okay. So as Sister Sophia said, you can keep adrenaline packs. And one suggestion, if there is if there is a bleeding there, we can stop with a local pressure. And then it is not controlled with our local pressure. What will we do? We can give a medication. We can go for our medications, or oral medication or IV. And if the oral medication or IV medication is not help, we can go for the surgical procedures. Like maybe otherwise you can go with the packs, adrenaline packs like this. So that is the management. I think this patient need that consultation with the maybe radiotherapy sometimes it will be helpful, but I don't know whether whether her condition, the health condition is okay for that or no. So what about Sister Sophia, her health, health condition?
Okay, patient actually at last of our visit is
Oh,
ECHO 4 already.
Okay.
So refuse all the radiotherapy, all the procedure. So what we do to this patient, we suggest to for the pain, we suggest to put the ketotope patch, the painkiller patch, and then for the psychological, we arrange for her telecounseling, because here we got the telecounseling. The patient can call via phone to the counseling people every Tuesday and every Thursday. So patient can lay out all the problem, all the inside the what her feeling throughout the journey of her cancer. So far patient occur with it, and we also give patient on amitriptyline, but since patient refuse everything, so we depends on the subcut haloperidol at that time. But so far patient okay.
Okay.
Mm.
Thank you. So, any other things you have can discuss? Any questions regarding colostomy, tracheostomy? So Aina mentioned there is a colostomy irrigation for that patient. So what type of colostomy you would suggest a colostomy irrigation? For suppose one patient come to you, the patient is having ascending colostomy. The patients ask you whether I am able to do a colostomy irrigation. What is your answer? No answers? Is the question is clear?
No, please. Can you please come again?
Yeah, Regina. So I'll repeat again. So when a patient comes to you, so Ayana, while she taking the class, she mentioned about the colostomy irrigation. So when a patient comes to you with a ascending colostomy and ask you whether I am able to do the colostomy irrigation, what will be your answer? Is it clear now, Regina?
Yeah, it is. I'm just not sure of the answer. I don't know. Maybe I think she can be allowed to try. Maybe we can try.
Okay.
And see. Yeah.
What about
I'm
others?
not very.
Thank you. Others? So we need to understand no answers. So we need to understand that there are 4 types of colostomy: ascending colostomy, transverse colostomy, descending colostomy, and sigmoid colostomy. So the stool, the type of stool will be different for the each portion. So ascending colostomy, when the stool entering from the small intestine, that the stool is that liquid. So no need to do the colostomy irrigation for that site. And the transverse colon also, some sort of absorption into the it take place in the ascending colon, but the stool will be again liquid, semi that liquid type stool will be there. That transverse colostomy is also not possible to the colostomy irrigation. If the patient is having sigmoid colostomy or ascending colostomy, you can do the colostomy irrigation. Okay. So you can, when a patient comes to you with the papers, you can read all the points, the post-operative procedures and all, what type of colostomy was done that patient. So based on the colostomy site, you have to suggest. Okay. So when that ascending sigmoid colon and that ascending descending colon, that stool will be the solid and semi-solid. That part you have to do the colostomy irrigation. So Aina mentioned the 3 points. When you suggest colostomy irrigation, so that should be lifelong. So when they, if you suggest colostomy irrigation, they may think, okay, we can do at least once in a week, something like that. So you have to give a proper explanation for that patient. When you choose this method, you have to do lifelong, but it is done. It's a fixed time. It's a one that correct time. So if they prefer 6 o'clock every day, they have to take a do the irrigation at 6 o'clock, and it will be take place. Maybe that habit formation will be taken after 21 days. So that is why they have to do the correct. They should do irrigation at the correct time. And these are the 3 important points you have to tell the patient. And what about if there is a constipation there, how will you manage? So if colostomy patients develop, usually if when the diet plan, you have to give adequate explanation. So one answer came enema. You have to give enema also, and then any other points? So what will we do is laxatives. Okay, you can ask the patient to take plenty of water and high fiber diet. But instead of that, you have to advise any laxatives also. If there is a history of constipation there, you can advise the patient to take laxatives. But if the patient is on opioids, definitely they should take laxatives on along with that. And you can do that examination with your little fingers, and with the help of you can lubricate the your little finger with the silocaine jelly, and you can insert your finger into the stoma and find out whether the stool is hard or soft. So and then you have to introduce the if the constipation there, you can introduce the the suppository also. Okay. And if the suppository is not help, you can give enema. And all better, you can advise the patient to take plenty of oral fluids and high fiber diets.
Hi all, I want to introduce one more type of colostomy bag which it is available in our Indian market. So we usually don't suggest this type of colostomy bags But if you see patients who have a problem with this colostomy bag, you can suggest this one also. So it look like this, and here we will be connecting the plastic colostomy pouch. That is, you can see it is just a plastic cover only. See this? So this will be um, this will be connected to this area, and this portion will be closely kept in the stromal region, and one tight black rubber band will be closed to the pouch. So it will be look like this. You can see this. So here it is tightly secure, and the pouch is here, and here it will be connected to the stromal region. Okay, this is also available in market. If there is, you all know, no, the colostomy bags are very costly, and if you see any patient who is very difficult to get this bag, you can suggest this also. So this is about the thing.
Thank you, Aina. So, and one more thing, Aina mentioned there is a peristomy. One of the complication is peristomal skin reaction. If there is a peristomal skin reaction, this is very common. So, if there is a peristomal skin reaction there, you can apply zinc oxide either or which one? Karaya powder. So, so how we apply karaya powder is you can mix with the white egg portion, and you can apply over the peristomal part. So that will why we suggest that egg white portion is so that karaya powder is a protein content powder, so that will help to heal the wound, and there is a barrier between the skin and the wafer. So after application of karaya powder, you can fix the wafer on the stoma. So always you should cut the correct size of wafer. So otherwise, if the size is too short, what happened? That wafer will touch the stoma and produce bleeding. And if the size, that wafer size is too large, what happened? That stool content will leak out into the normal skin and again cause peristomal skin reaction. That is why we, when we cut the wafer size, you should take the measurement first, and then based on the measurement, you have to cut the wafer size. Okay.
And one more thing I want to add is, if there is any infection present over the skin near to the stoma, consult the doctor. So if the patient is not consulting or they are keeping it open, means there is a chance of houseflies laying eggs, and which will later become maggots and will be very difficult to manage. So please instruct them before, if there is even though there is no, but there is no infection too, you should also educate the family about these kind of things. Okay.
And tracheostomy also. So there are 3 parts of tracheostomy tubes are there: outer tube, inner tube, and obturator. So usually the inner tube, they have to change. They have to clean every day, and they can boil it well, and they can they can clean with normal saline before and reinsert the inner tube. You should explain no water is inside the tube. If there is a water content in the tube, that will easily goes into the trachea. Again, that cough will be, the patient will aspirate. Okay, cough will be there. So when we changing the outer tube tie, so when we touch the tube, tracheostomy tube, the patient develop cough. So they're very, you have to explain to the patient and the caregivers when the when they doing the removing the tie, they have to fix the new tie first, and then they have to remove. So otherwise, that accidentally the tie, outer tube will come out. Okay, so if the outer tube is come out, you have to refer the patient to the anesthetist or a doctor. The doctor will insert the outer tube with the help of obturator. Okay, so and humidification is also humidification also is important. So you can educate the patient and family to take a wet gauze and put it over the tracheostomy area, and always they can cover the tracheostomy area with a gauze piece. Otherwise that flies, house flies, lay the eggs and come with the maggots. So you have to explain the patient about the same. And speech therapy is also important. You have to tell the patient about the speech therapy. Then they take a deep breath and close the tracheostomy too, and at least they can speak 1 or 2 words. At least if the patient is having pain, they have to explain it very well, what type of pain, what is what kind of distress they have, all those things they have to easily tell. So you should explain the patient about the speech therapy also. So inner tube cleaning, we already said you have to take it out and clean the inner part with that mucus secretions definitely inside the inner tube. That mucus will be cleaned first and then boil it. After that, they have to clean with a normal gauze and make sure there is no water content inside the tube. Then they after that they have to reinsert the inner tube. So I think so all of you are clear with that. If you have any doubts, please uh, give your doubts. You can send the doubts in our WhatsApp group so that we can able to answer it. So thank you. We can close the session. Thank you, Aina, for the presentation. Thank you, Sister Sophia, for the wonderful the patient story for this the session. Thank you all.
Thank you all.